proudest day and the proudest time in the seat of a rally car, because that day and that hour and those minutes, I got the bit between my teeth. You know, I really stood up and was counted and said, this is not getting away. I remember when we pulled on our helmets and Donald says to me, what are we doing? I said, we're going for gold, Barrett. That's all was said. I can still picture that run. That was just the best run ever.
Welcome along to Krunching Gears, the Rally Podcast. Season 3, Episode 23. Connor, we have another busy weekend ahead of us again now. We look back this week on around the National Portuguese Rally Championship that Josh McErlean was over competing in. You caught up with him. Then the round 3 is the Northern Ireland Championship was last weekend too, the Maiden City. We catch up with the winner there, Desi Henry, and also the two-wheel drive winner is Damien Tourish. And then Deja Vu was last weekend, and one of the undoubted stars of the show was Eamonn Kelly, and the legacy him and his dad Donna was out in the two legacies, and oh, what a sight that was. And then this weekend coming up, we have the Rally of the Lakes, the latest round of the Tarmac Championship, and I get a chance to speak to Sean Moriarty and Conway. But the MA Rally Academy keeps delivering. I'm still pinching myself thinking that Josh McErlean, the young guy from Killarney, is in a TokSport Skoda. This is like the works team. It's the same as Wall being in M Sport. This is crazy times.
Oh, absolutely it is. This is as good as Skoda running the team themselves. You look at TokSport's results the last couple of years running the Skoda, just phenomenal. So for Josh to have joined them and be competing alongside Pierre-Louis Loubet, Gus Greensmith, Oliver Solberg, just incredible that he's going to have this opportunity, or is now experiencing this opportunity. It's just brilliant.
That's for sure. And he performed remarkably well last weekend. Too, first time in the Skoda. And a fantastic result. Very level-headed. I would say he was probably under instructions to get make sure he'd done all the stages. Conditions looked horrendous. He set some cracking times and took away 5th overall, I think, at the finish up, wasn't it? Yeah, so brilliant. That's just set the standard for what we can expect now in Portugal now, not next weekend, but the following weekend.
Absolutely. And he finished ahead of the local guys. The guys that know those stages inside are competing regularly on the national championship, and it's just phenomenal, because we know ourselves, when somebody comes to Ireland to compete, it's tough for them to get one over on the locals. It was just incredible to see the stage times Josh was clocking up for his first time in the Skoda. Just incredible.
Yeah, and Craig Rahal was out there too in the Rally 4 Fest and had a great weekend as well too. And then we can't forget Chris Meek. What can we say? What a drive! Friday it didn't look so good, but what a comeback! I seen a quote by him that everybody says he's either trees or trophies, and he done the whole lot in one weekend. That was a sizable role he had on the Friday to come back from that, and then to go up and stand on top of the roof on the Sunday, then to spray the champagne. Superb.
Oh, look, just incredible. And my heart sank when I saw the clip come in on Twitter of the roll. I was like, oh, please, no. And for him just to turn it around, just take the criticism on the chin and just drive socks off. And, again, great result, great speed, great times. You have to hand it to him. Chris can deliver.
Yeah, and the first time with Stuart Loudon on the notes as well too. So getting used to a new co-driver and coming back from a roll, step and first stage fastest. That just shows the undoubted talent. I'm sure he doesn't think he's probably not listening, but if he does, I hope he's not offended. But he's the wrong side of 40 now at this stage too. Which is that's brilliant. With all these young guns about as well.
Well, look, that's it. Mature like a fine wine. And it's great. Look, he hasn't lost the ability, he hasn't lost the edge, and he still wants it as well. It's not just that, the skills aren't there. The competitiveness is there as well, that he's still keen, eager. He wants to get in Not only get in, he wants to win.
That's for sure. Like, and that's fantastic to see. And like, we spoke about Josh there. Like, no point in us waffling on about him. Let's hear it from the man himself.
Josh, thanks for joining us. Lovely to have you back on the podcast again, and on the back of a nice run out in the Skoda in Portugal.
Hey Connor, it's good to be back on. It's always good whenever you're on here because there's good reasons. But yeah, we had a good weekend last weekend in Rally Aboboreira. It was round of the national championship in Portugal, so plenty of competition from even a Portuguese point of view. But then obviously a lot of WRC2 runners came in preparation for Portugal, like we were doing. So yeah, it was good to get the conditions. It was quite tricky throughout the whole event, but some stages were similar to WRC Portugal, which was the main reason for being there.
And like obviously, it's about getting seat time, getting your first run out basically in the Skoda, having switched from you've campaigned the I-20 for the last couple of years. But like some serious competition, like I know you weren't out, to have a full tilt go at the rally, but some serious competition, Johan Roussel, Nikolai Greisen, both of them just on the back of strong results in Croatia. You had obviously Chris there who won the event, and then you had local talent, Armindo Araujo, and plus you had Pierre Louis, like you had plenty of people to benchmark yourself against.
Yeah, that's what you want whenever you go to these events. Obviously, it was our first time in the Skoda. It was a lot of new things to get onto. James wasn't at the event with the new a new baby. He came along, so
that's how congratulations
to him and the Nika for that. There, it's great to see. So he'll be back for Portugal. But Owen did a tremendous job in the notes for the first time. Obviously, he was fresh out of Hungary, so he was up to speed with John and. We got on well from the outset. The test went well. We had to get to know the team in the car relatively quickly, but we did plenty of kilometers during the test on a road that was quite similar to what we were going to face. So that was good from the outset. And obviously having Pierre Louis Dubé there was a good benchmark. To get to see his data, his onboards, and work with engineers throughout that there was quite successful because it shortcuts the processes of trying to find the little time margins. So no, the test went really well, and we were definitely ready to start the event and get to experience the new car.
And that's it. You mentioned there, Pierre Louis. He was obviously driving the Skoda as well for TokSport, like yourself. So fantastic to get slotted in, which is like a semi-works team. They are campaigning on behalf of Skoda and have been doing so very effectively in the WRC2 campaign for the last couple of years. So it must be fantastic to be in with a team as professional as that, with huge resources as well.
Yeah, they're a proper outfit, proper professional team, and Serkan Duru, who's the owner, he can do anything to help you out. And he had to have access to the Skoda engineers that's on event, as well as TokSport's own engineers. They have a lot of experience over the past few years, especially with the Skodas, and to have that resource, have the capabilities and the knowledge there is definitely a big step for me in terms of communicating with them and trying to get the best out of the whole package. But from the outside, from the offset, it was quite straightforward for me. It was more or less get in and drive the yoke and see how it goes and communicate back. But they're covering a lot from a team's point of view, and it's definitely a nice step forward.
And personally for yourself, has there been much of an adjustment going from being so familiar with the I-20 going straight into the Skoda?
Yeah, there is and there isn't. It's been a while since we actually drove the Rally 2 car on gravel. I think it was Finland last year, so it was maybe 8 months or that. So yeah, there was a bit of getting used to the speed again. Things come a lot quicker than let's say a Porsche. So that was nice. The car is completely different, I would say, in terms of chassis and even the engine, the power and the output it has. So yeah, it was probably good to go in with an open mind, not to expect anything from each side of it. And the gear ratios is a lot different than the Hyundai. The chassis a lot different as well. So I'm not going to say one's better than the other at the moment because we're still going into WRC and we still have to learn a lot more about the car. So no, but from the outside or from the start, it's been a positive step, and we're really looking forward to the big one now.
And obviously, Chris Meek was there campaigning the Hyundai and won the event. But Chris has been working with Skoda for the last couple of years and still continuing to develop that car. So, was there an opportunity even to get a little bit of, some hints, tips, advice off Chris?
Chris is a good guy. He's quite easy to talk to. Maybe at the start of the event he was a bit busy trying to get a roof skin straightened, but no, he's sound. You could question him with anything, and he's definitely a nice contact to have, especially with obviously the most development he's done with the Skoda and still is doing that. So yeah, to have that contact, have that resource to relate to is definitely very beneficial, as well as all the other teammates with Gus and Oliver and Per Louis. So you're in an environment where there's a lot of professional people and people with a lot of knowledge and experience from a WRC point of view.
And look, the event itself, look, we know that the Portuguese stages are notoriously tough, and some of them, what do you call it? You're competing on parts that would also be used in the upcoming WRC event. So, and in mixed conditions. So, how was the event for you? You certainly seem to be on the pace pretty much from the get-go.
Yeah, qualifying was quite good. I think we were only 100ths of a second from Per Louis. The feeling was good. It wasn't anything extraordinary from a driving point of view. We actually probably lost a bit in the first sector of the stage with sliding wide and not being so tidy. So yeah, it was good confidence coming out of the qualifying to have that time, but it was more, I would say, the feeling in the car and how easy it was to get that time rather than sticking your neck out and pushing on the limit, which it wasn't really that wasn't the case. And yeah, going into the first stage of the rally, no one really knew what the weather was going to do. We started first on the road. Yeah, there was maybe a bit of miscommunication to get that there position, but it worked out okay in the end up. Chris was second on the road. Obviously, he was. I think his speak to me at the start was she's damaged now. Well, maybe not so political as that, so it doesn't really matter if there's any more damage to come. So he had the right attitude going into it, and he was definitely going for a big push. He was in a national tire where everyone else was in the WRC tire, but okay, that I don't think that would have really mattered from a pace point of view because he was definitely pushing it.
And then with regard to the actual, the stages themselves, what sort of condition are they in, particularly the parts that are going to be used in the WRC? What was your feeling for them?
So Moriarty is the biggest stage in WRC. It's 37 kilometers on the Saturday. On this rally, we got to do 22 kilometers of the 37. So a lot of mileage on a WRC stage, which you don't rarely get that. So yeah, conditions were quite mixed. We started 7th on the road on Saturday morning. As the cars passed over it, the conditions started to get more muddy, and yeah, the grip wasn't so high. I would say we struggled in there the 2 passes, trying to get a rhythm. But yeah, the conditions were always changing. The road surface in Portugal generally does change, and with the black mud that can appear in some places, it's like ice. So yeah, it would have been quite stupid to do something silly in there for our first time in the Skoda. But yeah, we got through it cleanly and got the mileage, set some top 3 times, which is positive against them type of guys. And yeah, we had a lot of data going forward into our tests next week in Portugal again.
And with 22K of that stage being used so close to the upcoming WRC, do you think that's going to make the conditions of that stage for the WRC event that bit trickier? Will it cut up quicker?
Yeah, I definitely think this year. I think that stage is used in this national rally every year, and then it goes into WRC. But this year the weather was quite bad for the stage, and obviously the ruts came with that, and rocks started to be dug out of the ground. So I'd imagine going into WRC next week on recce, even the stage will be quite deteriorated. Second pass of Amarante in WRC is always a survival game with punctures and delamination. So yeah, I don't think this weather helped the stage conditions, but let's see how the grader works over the next couple of weeks.
And you mentioned the recce's coming up, but what, and apart from having the run out there last weekend, what else is going on in the background preparation wise for Portugal? Because it's been a while since you've competed.
Yeah, so most stages are from last year, quite similar. There's a lot of pace notes you can work on WRC Plus to work on that there. We've got a pre-event test planned on Saturday before the event, which is good to get into the car straight away. Obviously, we've got some thoughts from the last weekend and some things to work on. So, yeah, to have that straight away is quite good and be fresh again, getting into the car ahead of Recce, which starts on Monday. So, yeah, there's plenty of work to do. I'm home 4 days now and away again, so it's it's all go at the minute.
I'll go, and hopefully Fuzzy gets a bit of sleep before he goes as well.
Maybe he'd be glad to get away to get some sleep.
Absolutely. And closer to home, we might see you out on the stages here very soon.
Yeah, so we've put an entry in for the Terras D Rally. It's a local rally to us. It's based in Marfelt, run by Marfelt Motor Club, which is my local motor club from growing up. But yeah, it came about basically with James McErlean, and he's been very generous to give us his new polo for the event, as well as a lot of local support from Woodland NI and a lot of supporters that's been there from the start. And I think it's good to show back what we've done in WRC or maybe in Europe over the past 4 years, because we haven't really competed at home. I think it has been 4 years since we were last in Irish stages. So, yeah, to get the opportunity to have a car like that there on these roads near home with the local support of the people will be good to come back and enjoy as well. So, yeah, we're really delighted for that there and look forward to it.
And whilst you are competing at home, I suppose the fact you haven't actually been, out rallying here in such a long time, you don't really have a home advantage or that
No.
knowledge of the stages.
No, absolutely nothing. We did one rally in an R5 at home whenever we did, and yeah, okay, it's been a long time. We've done a lot in Europe, probably a lot of gravel as well at that. So, yeah, I don't know what to expect. I'm not putting any expectations on it. It's just going to have fun, just showing people what we've been doing in the world stage and coming back and seeing what it's all about. So, yeah, you have to have fun whenever you come home as well, because yeah, WRC is a serious game, and there's a lot of expectation there as well. So, no, we're delighted for it. James will be in the co-driver's seat. I actually rang Aaron Johnson during the week to see if he'd do gravel crews. So we'll get all the boys back together and have a good go at it.
Yeah, you mentioned there getting Aaron and the band back together, but also, it is about bringing everybody together to help out and support. And you were out in Hungary there, not competing, but actually working behind the scenes with the academy.
Yeah, so that was quite an interesting trip. The academy's done a lot for me over the past few years, and yeah, we've done a lot and came a long way together. We've been through the rookie years and knowing what to do and when to do it, and we've learned a lot together. So yeah, as let's say a senior member of the academy, it was good to give back to the juniors who's starting the junior ERC campaigns in Hungary that weekend. So yeah, to go there, to go to the test, to help out from an advice point of view or a pace note point of view was quite nice as well. And yeah, it came to the end of the result, and Jack Neither, I think, finished 4th and 5th, which was tremendous from a 17 car starter. So yeah, it was good. John obviously had a good result with the top 10 finish in the ERC as well. So no, it was great to do that there, and obviously it's a big thanks to the academy that we got to do this national rally as well as the WRC program to get the seat time in. And yeah, everyone's learning from everyone else, so it's a good base to start the year with.
And like what sort of queries are the coming to you with? Like, what is it that they want to know or need to know on these big events?
I think it's more a confidence based thing as well. Throughout recce, obviously, if they've doubts of a corner or a jump or a surface, it's come to ask me what I think of it or what's my opinion. Let's say you're not going to go there and change their whole note system or that there, because that's not what it's about. I think whenever recce's done, it's their notes, it's what they've made. It's more an advice point of view if they have any doubts or any questions from that. Or even from a car setup point of view, if they've got a specific feeling or how they communicate let's say, to an engineer of what their feeling is from a driver's point of view. So it's more a comfort, I would say, for them to come to me to ask for advice. And yeah, again this week, Eamonn's going out to Canaries to help them as well. So it's all members is trying to give back, which I think the whole program, that's what it's about.
And does it seem strange for you to have come full circle? Like, it wasn't too many years ago you would have been away, at a Hyundai test day asking Teemu Sunninen for advice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're still doing that today with Pierre Louis. So yeah, you understand what questions can be asked and what could help the younger people. So no, it's not full circle quite yet. I'm still in that process, and I think you will be until the very end. It's a game that you're always learning in, and it's all the small details that add up.
Yeah, and you mentioned the academy, and quite obviously, there's that bit of support there that helped you have the event in Portugal as well as a precursor to the WRC event.
Yeah, so it was good to have that there. Obviously, John Coyne was there. He flew straight from his rally in Olympus to be there in Porto. So yeah, he's doing a lot of air miles at the minute to follow around the academy. He's in Canaries this week as well. So and then flying back to Portugal for WRC, and then on to an American rally in Oregon Trail. So he's a busy man, and yeah, it's huge respects to him for what he does, even from a travel point of view. But never mind the support he gives. So yeah, the details and the work he puts in behind the scenes is tremendous, and it's all thanks to him and obviously Sean McHugh, as well as everyone behind the scenes to make it happen. So yeah, everyone involved is very grateful for what they do.
And that's I would say people probably don't realize, actually, John and Sean are both on the ground, at virtually every event. The support isn't just there from, just advice or behind the scenes. They actually physically give a lot of time and commitment.
Yeah, they are managing the program, and the likes of Sean, he was in Hungary for the first 3 days. He then flew to the BRC rally, and then I think there was maybe a Irish Forestry rally on the Sunday. So that was 3 events inside 1 week, which it's incredible. No other person, I think, in the country would do what that man does. And yeah, it's an incredible efforts from everyone behind the scenes to get it all taken from Junior 1000 to Rally 4 to Rally 3, right up to Junior WRC to WRC 2. There's a lot going on and a lot on their plate. So it's yeah, it's busy times for them. So yeah, whenever we can help out to make their lives easier, that's what we want to do.
So yeah, all eyes focused on Josh and I in WRC Portugal in what do you call it, less than 2 weeks' time. And just, if he can even deliver half of what he delivered last weekend in the new Skoda, it'll just be phenomenal. And we're also going to get the opportunity to see him competing at home shortly as well, which is great. And speaking of competing at home, Kevin, you had a chance to catch up with Desi Henry.
Yeah, Desi and myself we chatted about. He had a great run there in Maiden City Stages there on Saturday. 6 stages, the Citroen dry tarmac looks formidable, and he had a great run now too. Seemed very happy. He said he was happy with the setup, and dry, and has struggled a wee bit in the damp and wet conditions and all too. So we're coming into the summer months, and hopefully drier stages. He beat Callum, he beat Johnny Greer there and all too. So it's looking very positive. First of all, you'll hear me speaking to Desi, and then that'll go on to Damien Tourish, who also won the two-wheel drive. And whenever we finished recording, Desi wanted to pay a special tribute then to Shane Byrne, his co-driver. That's his first outright victory. So he's maiden one on the Maiden City Stages. So there's a nice ring to that there too. So yeah, so let's hear from Desi. Desi, we were at Maiden City Stages there at the weekend. Fantastic result. That's what, 3 years running you've won that rally.
Yeah, and I've always sort of joked that the Maiden City events have always been lucky for us. Certainly nice to get back in the top step of the podium. It's been a wee bit of a drought for a while. But no, certainly it was a good day, and the club put on a good event. It was a challenging event, to be fair. There was bumps and jumps and crests and lots of corners, and a lot of the roads were quite narrow. So there's a wee bit of everything through the end of the mix. But I suppose that's what we were looking. We wanted a good challenging rally, and we had, top class competitors against us there to sort of bench ourselves against. And no, it's nice to sort of get back to where I feel we should be. And it's probably been a wee bit too long.
Yeah, because since you swapped over to the Citroen, it's been a difficult road. But all especially this year, there seems to be progression for the whole year, which sometimes you maybe have to take a wee step backwards to go forward.
Yeah, suppose we went from 2022 to one on, I think, 6 or 7 rallies, with a fantastic year in 2022. The last year just wasn't a great year. Nothing really clicked, and to be honest, we struggled a wee bit just with car setup, and we were quite unlucky. I know sometimes you make your own luck in this game, but I do think a lot of things maybe went against us that on another day you could have got away with. But certainly this year we've made I feel a good improvement. The car, we went to Galway and we were battling with Josh for third, and it was all fairly close, even to the front boys. It was seconds and tenths of seconds between them and ourselves. And obviously, with a mistake in the last stage when it come down to the wire, come down to the last stage shootout between me and Josh for the podium. So he won that, unfortunately. He's a hard body to get one over on, but so I think that was a good progression, and the difficult conditions. Then obviously we had a difficult last 2 rallies, a fairly short last 2 rallies. So it was nice to get it turned around. And to be fair, every rally we seem to have done recently has been difficult as far as weather conditions.
Yeah.
The last time I was telling some of the boys at the weekend that we actually drove a set of slick tires was the LMC last year. So every day we seem to have went out, it has been raining. And so no, I think after the circuit, we sort of says to ourselves, look, we're an entry in for Monaghan the following week, and I just wasn't happy with the car. We struggled the whole of the circuit, and I said, no, we'll pull the pin on Monaghan. We'll spend a lot of time in the car, get around every wee thing, and done a bit more testing. And to be honest, it was the best thing ever we done. I was disappointed we missed Monaghan because it looked like a great rally, and ironically, it was dry. But I think it was worthwhile because when we got till obviously the rally of the weekend, we had spent a lot of time making sure everything was right, and obviously it paid dividends. So no, it's been a rocky road, I would say, of late, but we've put in a lot of effort recently, and I do think we're starting to get in front of it again.
Yeah, because we've seen that all these R5 Rally 2 cars, it's so minuscule the difference between them, and probably as you say, doing that test, sort of finding that wee fraction is going to make the difference on the stages, because you haven't the time to try these wee things out when you're doing a rally, because you're that scared of going the wrong way with a tweak or a click of the suspension.
Yeah, well, we all know that rallies are nearly won by tenths of a second, seconds now. So you've so many different elements to the cars. You've chassis, you've diffs, you've your engine, you've all these different things, and all it takes is for one of them parts not to be working to their maximum to be put you out of the race or make you uncompetitive. Um, so the cars are all, when they are set up right and you're driving them properly, they all are, when you come down on stage, they're all very close. The same driver will probably fit to do the same time in every single one of them Rally 2 cars that jump into. But it's got just such fine margins now, everything just has to be right. So I suppose that's the sort of step that the thing we looked at was we're better spending time to try and make sure we get every single wee thing right. And when you do that, your car will be there. And look, we've a great bunch of lads back at the workshop, and they've done a great job with the car now. And I have to say it's probably the first time in a while that I've been really happy and really, really comfortable with the car. And particularly in such a difficult rally where I say there was a lot of bumps and jumps, and it was now you sort of all sort of conditions threw at you in one rally. And it is that we all know rallying is difficult. It's, if you go to any other sport, I don't think you have as many things that can change can entail it. Where we're in a situation where you go from one rally where it's bone dry to one other rally you go to and there could be ice and snow on the road. Mixed along with bumps and jumps and all other factors that you can throw onto it. So it's just hard to get that right every day. And I think certain cars will suit certain conditions on a certain day, and it's trying to adapt fit your car to suit them conditions best. But no, I think we're getting there eventually, Kevin. I say it's been a long road, but hopefully we can get it turned around, and hopefully in the next few rallies or before we head to the hills, we should be in a position that we should be fairly competitive.
Yeah, and going by listening to you guys at the end of the stages, like that rally on Saturday, particularly, like the stage one was completely different characteristic to the other two as well. Like so that probably makes you try that try and refine the setup for the two. It was probably the ideal test against the clock as well.
Yeah, well, look, rallying's always a compromise. There's always going to be every loop you do is going to have a difference. But I think you're right. In particular, there was a vast difference in the nature of the stages on Saturday. The first stage was very bumpy and very choppy, and there was very little margin for error. Whereas stage 2 and 3 was probably a bit faster and a bit smoother, and you were able to carry a bit more speed. But if you were if you were leaving service to do each one of them stages, you'd have the car set up completely different for each one of them stages. So it was just trying to find a setup that worked in each one of them stages. And you're never going to get a perfect car. When you listen to boys even at World Championship level, they're coming out of stages and they can't get setups completely right for the rally. What hope does Paddy have? That's all we can do is try to find the best middle ground we can. But no, it's certainly rallying in Ireland has got to a very, very high level in my opinion. Even from when we started rallying and started getting into the 4-wheel drive stuff. As I always said, it used to be you could get away with a car 85 or 90% right, and you could have been racing. But now it needs to be 95 or 100% right, and that's not just the car. That's preparation. It's patience. It's even fitness now is coming into it more. It's all these different factors that come into try and that you need to all stitch together, and when it all fits together, it should be easy. When you come out of a stage and your
It should
time's
feel
there,
natural. Yeah.
it should feel natural, yeah. And mostly when you've all them things done and you've all the boxes ticked, the times will come. But it's just getting it's the time and effort and everything you need to tick all them boxes. Obviously I've always said before we're trying to balance. We're obviously we're own company. You have to manage that number one. Ultimately, you have to pay the bills, and you need that to work before you can
Yeah.
go rallying. So, and obviously your family life mixed into that as well. So, to me, I sort of take always have an opinion that maybe less rallies and try to do them right, and that's maybe sometimes the best thing that works for me. But other people maybe can look at it some different.
And like you were saying there, it's every rally you go to, whether it's around the Northern Ireland Championship, like the National Championship or the Tarmac Championship, every championship across the whole island, that level is just rising and rising and rising. Like a few years ago, like as you say, like the Northern Ireland Championship, you could have probably got away with like 80%. That's them days is gone now. Like when you have the likes of Callum and Johnny and all those other guys that was there on Saturday, like that's pushing the level up too, and that's just fantastic to see.
Yeah, it is. I remember somebody telling me one day, no matter what rally you go to, you'll always find a race. And it always seems to be that is the way it is. I suppose historically, in your top 10, you maybe had maybe 1, 2, 3 word cars, and with a lot of 2-wheel drive stuff after that, and Evo stuff. But now you could have even gone to a smaller rally or Northern Ireland Championship rally, you could have 20 Rally 2 cars. So it's if you have 20 boys, there's always going to be a couple of idiots stuck in the middle of it that's willing to give it a throw,
That's
and
for sure.
so. And then you've always the element of there's people that maybe goes really well on certain rallies or their home rally. Take for example, Ryan Caldwell at the weekend.
Yeah.
He was on brilliant times. I think it was unlucky. I think a diff failure or something. But it just shows you never know who could be through in the mix at a certain rally, and to me, that's interesting. That keeps, that's what the sport's about.
Because
It
like you
should be
you come
closer
off
and
the
should be
stage, you see the
interesting.
top 5 times, and you think, that I'm happy enough with that. And then suddenly Ryan's coming in at like was it 14 or 15th in the road, and
Yeah,
just like, where did
yeah,
that come out of?
yeah, yeah. And to me, that's great because it just and I suppose from a spectator point of view, you're watching, the live coverage. It makes it interesting, and like that's what we want. That's what the sport needs, and that's what generates sponsors and generates, all these different things that come after that. So, no, I'm always a big. I would always say the more the merrier in rally, and that's the way. Hopefully, I can continue to grow.
Yeah, and like there was some confusion as well too on Saturday, like what class you're running, though. But you made it very clear at the end, you were running full Rally 2 spec, the 32 mil restrictor, and like there is some guys in the Northern Ireland Championship they're allowed to do it. They can run the bigger restrictor. Well, they're running the rallies or not, and the championship is that correct?
Yeah, it's something I don't really probably agree with, and it's something I probably have orchestrated in the past to try and see if it could be changed. So in the Northern Ireland Championship, you have to run to homologated spec. So R5 has to run exactly to their R5 spec and on a 32 mil restrictor. Um, but if you're not registered for the championship, uh, the Motorsport UK regulations allows you to run on a 34 mil restrictor. And there's a vast difference. Anybody that has drove these cars will know there's a massive difference between a car on a 32 and a 34 mil restrictor. Probably something in the range of 30 brake horsepower. So it's a fair difference. So ultimately, if somebody else is running on the big restrictor and you're not, you could be left behind very very quickly. So generally, what what I would do to make sure we're not doing another Ireland Championship, but at the same time, I wanted to race. I wanted to see where we were against Callum and Johnny and all these boys. So um, we entered the car originally on the class 11, which is the class that you're allowed to run the 34 mil restrictor. Uh, but when we got to the event, we realised that like Callum and Johnny and all was running on the 32 mil. So we spoke to scrutineer in the morning and said, look, our car is still running as per its homologated spec. Gillian had actually come over, checked the restrictor and all the steel and all still on it, and she said that's fine. That car is still Rally 2, but unfortunately, we never got the administrative side sorted out. So the car is still showing as Class 11, even though we were running Class 10. And as I say, the scrutiny and all had verified that's the class the car was running. So no, there was a bit of a running joke all day now. The boys are saying, "Oh, you're running 34." And I'd actually called Callum and Johnny over at one stage. Is right, look on there, boys. There's a football valve and an FIA seal. And but look, it was all about a banter. But no, we were running in class 10, and which was great because to me going out there on a 34 mil restrictor, it would give us a false sense of pace.
Yeah.
And that's not what we're there for. We were there ultimately to see where pace was at. And we always knew our pace probably in dry tarmac, particularly in the Saturn, was good, and I think it proved that it was very good there on Saturday. But to me, we all we were doing was allowing ourselves a backup plan that if anybody had it landed on a 34, you can change it quite quickly. But no, I'm glad that everybody stayed on the 32s.
Yeah, because it makes it a fair race for everybody. And then, like, like you've always said all along, if you have the car below you and the everything right, and especially on dry tar, you can race anybody. And Saturday showed that. Like you're quite prepared to go anywhere in the country, and on a fair wind and a fair day, and you'll give everybody a race.
Yeah, look, we've proved it in the past. As I say, I think recently we have just been unlucky with it, but let's say in a way we've been unlucky in the weather. I think the Saturn's particular strength, and I think the car is super quick on dry tar. We've seen this before. Even go back to Donegal 2 years ago, where there was a scorch in Donegal, and Matt Edwards led well, it was battling McCallum the whole rally. I don't know if he was leading it or second, but they were
Second,
in a close fight up to the point that he went off. But I think he proved at that point the car was quick on dry tar. And even last year in the LMC on one dry tar, it went down to the wire between myself and Callum for the one. But as I said, that was the last time we drove the car on a dry tarmac. So and look, no, we're hoping now moving forward. Hopefully I don't know what's causing all this whether we need to start driving electric rally cars to try and change those change the forecast a bit. But um, no, look, I'm pretty confident that I'm a lot happier where I'm at now, and I think we're doing a reasonably good job on our side as far as pace notes and making sure all that's right. And no, I'm looking forward now to Sperns and 2 or 3 weeks time. So we'll have another challenge now with Josh now, Josh
yes,
McErlean, which obviously me and Josh first cousins.
exactly.
So
Is that
and
going
it'll
to
be and it's our home rally, so
be?
it'll be a bit a bit of a grab for the trophy, I would say. But no,
And
it'll
like
be.
just when you mentioned Josh, like isn't it that absolutely fantastic? We know we've seen his progression over the last couple of years, and to go into like a work Skoda and all, but name the TokSport as the official blessed team, like that is like we kind of tend to forget how phenomenal this is. Like this young guy from Killarney suddenly now like on the second tier of the World Championship, brilliant.
Yeah, look, he's made massive progression. And I think this year he's now in probably the best team and the best car. And when he jumped in, he hadn't Josh hasn't probably had the seat time that most of the other boys he's racing has had. That rally at the weekend is the first time he's been out in months. And first time he stepped into he only had a 1 day test, stepped into the car then for the qualifying. And was the second quickest in qualifying. And it's not to say he went second quickest against a load of amateurs. It was second quickest against some of the best drivers in the world. So to me, it was a massive step up. But no, it's great to see it, and it'll be interesting to see now in Portugal in a few weeks' time. I think the same boy will not be too far away, but he might just not be as cocky come with Burns now.
And like this has been like he has been behind you, and you've been behind him. Like you often see us in service, and your company has been on his cars and one thing and another. Like this is like a true family affair, and like you've seen that yourselves. It's your own family working on the car now, and like, this is a very tight unit you all have there.
Yeah, look, the whole thing probably started, come back to Josh's dad, Ian, who rallied in he had done the Northern Ireland Championship and an Evo 6, and then it was a 7, and it was an 8, and then a 9 at that time. But so it all sort of started probably with there, and the petrol started burning at that stage. And obviously Josh was there. He wasn't that big when the whole thing started, but and probably neither was I. But as
Truth be told,
as the
yeah.
as the thing progressed, then Josh followed me until he started rallying, and then he obviously took off to the British Championship and won the
The juniors,
juniors,
yeah.
I believe, at that
Uh-huh.
time. Yeah,
Yeah.
and obviously he's made huge steps from that. But no, it's always been a family sport and still is. We all still support each other. Josh still will be out every rally he's at home. He'll be here with us, doing something, or be out doing gravel notes or doing something. He's obviously always there, and you know, it's uh, it's nice to see it, and I say we're all still very very close, and we've uncles and friends and all that's been with us right through the years, and that's still the case. And to me, that's what it's about. It's we're all out for a bit of crack. Even after the rally on Saturday, everybody come back to my house and we had a bit of a party, and bit of a hangover on Sunday, and to me, if you can't have that, there's no point rallying, because there's that much heartache on the bad days, and there's that many hours, not that much time goes into it. If you can't have a good celebration after the day goes well, well, you're at the wrong sport. Yeah, it's but no, that's what it's all about.
Damien, you had a fantastic result there at the weekend in the Maiden City Rally. It's an event that's been very kind to you in the past as well.
It has. That's our second or third time. Oh, second time doing it, and yeah, it's been good just now, and the twice that we done it, the stages was dry and everything, so it's a nice wee rally and close to home too.
Yeah, like that's the great thing about, them events there. Like they're so close to the border for you, like probably what, half an hour, 40 minutes runs you up to.
45, 50 minutes take you up, so I jump out of bed in the morning, away you go. So same as going to work really. So um, no, that's good. No, it's good. It's handy.
Yeah, and like the weather at the weekend was just ideal conditions for a rally, and like bone dry, like no sign of rain or nothing. It must be a pleasure just bolting on the tires, knowing you have the right choice, because it has been horrendous this past 7 or 8 months, really.
That's right. That is last, I suppose, since Mayo, I suppose, with a few rallies we did do, there was rain. There was rain all the time, I suppose. Well, morning was dry, but the last stage then came on damp. So no, it was nice to get the whole rally done in the dry, and it's a lot easier in them cars in the dry,
That's for sure. And like, yeah, I'm sure everybody's aware you had an off in Mayo in your first event this year. It's just one of those unfortunate like incidents that was going to happen in the conditions that day. But since then, like the circuit then anti Monaghan, the pace has been getting better and better.
I sit there. It's like football. It's if you're not at it, you're not going to be at the sharp age. So I suppose sit time for us, it means a lot too. And we're I suppose we're back on a good enough pace there at the minute. So I will see now. I don't think we'll go out again before Donegal, but hopefully now Donegal will be a bit easier and a bit more steadier through it. The more time you get in the car, it's easier. Everything comes more natural to you. So I suppose that's what Raymond for, and reliability, I suppose. So no, see how it goes now.
You talked about things coming natural. Like Saturday, I was watching there the stage ends when you were chatting to Andy and Kelly, and like it was seemed to be coming very natural. There was, I think was it stage 3 possibly. Like you had a cracking time. I think it was like fourth or fifth fastest. And like Andy
Yeah.
was getting very excited about it, and you're like, yeah. And even Donald
Uh,
beside you was quite excited about it, but it just seemed to be very like it's not right to say no effort to you, but it just seemed to be a very easy flowing stage for you.
it was some stages there you get to the end of them, and you think you didn't put a wild lot of effort into it, and times they can be actually the best stage. So that was kind of one of them stages, but at the same time, with a wee bit of a noise in the back of the car, with a wee bit of damage in the back axle, and I was a wee bit worried about that. And I had kind of a lot of things going through my head at the time, but no, I generally stay cool, and that's nearly the best way to approach the thing, I suppose.
Yeah, and like I suppose in a way too, if there's a wee knock or a noise in the back of the car, if you get it into the service, like Paul Reed and the guys will, not be long getting it sorted. You have that. They're a great team there. It's working behind you, working behind service for you.
Well, there, Paul, I suppose he's the main man at the minute there, I suppose, between the Escorts and Darians and different things there. But no, they're a very good team there, and if you can give them a wee idea what's wrong, they'll be ready and they come on and they get the job done, and away you go again. So no, lucky enough to have them now.
Yeah, and like you talked about Donegal coming up. You've been very lucky, like with the circuit and Monaghan, and now Maiden City at the weekend. There've been quite a good variety of stages and all. So like it gives you a chance to sort of like maybe tweak your setups a wee bit here and there. Like the circuit was kind of greasy and mucky in places. I know Monaghan was mainly dry and good flat ground. Saturday there was a bit of a bit more bumpy and one thing and another. So you think you should be heading now into June now with good confidence that you have a car that's adaptable.
That's right. There, I suppose we've all trains tried there, by me go to the gravel. Not much more we can try, but no, I'm got the cars. The cars going very well at the minute, and there's no issue that way at all now. It'll be all me that should be way, but we'll try our best with it, don't I?
And do you make much changes to the car? Like for a bumpy stage or a smoother stage, or do you tend not to fitter too much when you have it set up right?
We wouldn't filter too much weight now. Maybe soften it off a wee bit if it was wet, but And generally, no, we wouldn't do a wild lot with the gear. It's fairly well sorted now at this stage. Like.
And no point, ignoring the elephant in the room. Like Donegal, you had a fantastic run last year, and like more of the same this year.
Hopefully, yeah. We'll start half. The plan is gonna go steady and see what way it goes. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it now. Hey, and I'm feeling a wee bit more comfortable now. So, I'm looking forward to it now. I must say.
Because like we know there's no word of an entry list or nothing like that. We're far too early for that. But we know well that everybody's going to be there. Like, and it is the one that all modified guys want. Like you can nearly think of who's going to be there, and you'll not be far away. And like to be there and fighting each of them guys for seconds or tenths of seconds, that's what rallying's all about, really, isn't it?
That's right. There, Monaghan. I suppose Monaghan there. Everybody was out too. Well, or a few wasn't out, but most of the men was there, and it was a great battle. It was a great day in Monaghan. We're down to tenth of seconds, and I think we finished only 1.8 behind Angel McKenna, and Kevin Geller is in there only 0.1 in front of us or something. So it was after a maybe 80-mile stage miles, it was they're a real buzz right now. So it was good. Like.
I like, and do you get a real kick out of that? Like, well, yes, you would love to have won, but like coming third in a battle like that, it must be like such a buzz out of that.
Yeah. It's as good as the one to do that
Right.
all day and be that close. But you know, you do a stage and you know yourself you've done the best that you have done.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't really matter if you get beat or not because you know that's everything there. So
Aye.
it was good and we had a few of them stages, so I was happy enough.
Aye, and like you must then have huge respect. If you feel you come off that stage yourself and Donald in the car, and you felt that that's been just perfect, and like for
Yeah.
somebody like Daniel McKenna or like Egg or whatever to beat you by 2 or 3 tenths of a second or whatever, like what you've put on the line. So like you must have huge respect for them as well.
Oh, of course, there's some great drivers out there. So no, it's I suppose that's where the buzz is now. When you get down to that, that's the fine line, and I suppose to do nine stages like that, or even on the Donegal 18 or 20 stages, it's going to be a challenge now. So see what way it goes.
Yeah, and like I know there's no route or nothing really, out yet. But there's chat of new stages, reverse stages, and all that. So that will provide its own challenges as well. It's not just the same format as before, right?
No, that's right. I even Donegal town last year, and it spiced it up a wee bit. For I suppose even for drivers that's coming maybe that hasn't done the rallying even for a few years, or maybe is new to the rally. I suppose it helps. It gives them a wee chance to. For I suppose there's probably people. I'm from Donegal here, but sure, there's probably more different men would have more knowledge of them stages than me even, and I'm doing them a long time. But um, no, definitely it spices it up now. So definitely
Yeah. So bring on June.
bring on June.
So thanks to them two lads there. Oh, it was a pleasure as always. And then last weekend then with Deja Vu, and I was very fortunate to be there taking part in the event. Yes, it's just a drive around, but it's a bit more than that. It's a very special event. There's the stars, the cars, and it always delivers. There's just something very special about it then too. And I'd like to pay a special tribute to Kevin McGlynn who took me out in his Manta. We had such a laugh, a great crack on the day. He is such a character, great man, great fun, and we had a ball. And Joey O'Shea too in his Manta as well too. It was tagged along with us for a good part of the day too. I'm sorry for getting you lost and twice. And but we'll not say any more about that. But like got back up to the Stables Museum as well too. What can we say? Like just wow, wow, wow. Every time I go in, it just blows my mind. And then I also got the opportunity to interview some of the crews down at the quay here in Donegal town, which is only 5 miles from where I'm sitting. So thanks very much for Connacht Motor Club for asking me to do that too. It was an absolute pleasure. It just things like that just very special, especially when it's somewhere so close to home as well too. And two of the undoubted stars of the event were Eamonn and Donna Kelly, who had the two, the McRae and the Burns legacy out as well too, and What can we say? The
Like
noise, the burble, the crack, and Connor, you got a chance to speak to him earlier.
I did listen to beautifully restored cars, like the legacies are just gorgeous. And yeah, and then another one from the stable as well was the Manta of Vincent Bonner. So I'm sure that was a sight to behold, those three cars alone, never mind the other people taking part in it. But yeah, I had a chance to chat with Eamonn, just generally have a quick catch up what he's doing this week, just something a little bit different, but thought was interesting. And then we have a quick chat about JWRC campaign and then a little bit on the Deja Vu. Eamon, thanks for joining us on the podcast. So you're in the Canaries, but you're not competing.
Yeah, unfortunately not. After spending the day at a test here, I kind of wish I was. And after driving some of the roads, they look fantastic. But now I'm out here with the academy. Obviously, Jack and Aoife are doing the rally in the two Peugeots in the junior ERC. So came out just to lend a hand and try and offer a bit of advice from my own past experiences where I could. And yeah, it's just nice to be involved and seeing these guys, going and doing their thing in the junior ERC. And it's obviously a super competitive championship too, but having done a bit of international rallying for the past year, you do learn so much. So it's nice just to be able to sit in the background, see how things work, and then lend a bit of advice where it can help them. And I think we had a good day today. Both of them made good progress, and not an easy place to come and be fast. It's very, very tricky roads out here. Tough to come and write pace notes and be on the pace from the word go, but the two of them did a pretty good job, and I think they learned a lot too. And you could see the improvement from stage one to the last pass of the stage. And yeah, it's good to see the advice being taken on board and steps being made. So looking forward now to seeing how they get on their recce and the rally in itself. It's just great to have young Irish competitors doing these types of competitions. We've always had one or two in the past, but be fair now with the whole structure the academy's created and the opportunities it's obviously created too. We've got a lot of people to look out for in these different championships, but with that excitement, obviously, you want the best for them too. So yeah, that's why I'm out just trying to help where I can, and hopefully they get the most out of the weekend. But it's a good thing to be involved in. And also, when you're in the background doing things like this, you tend to learn a bit yourself. You're only reinforcing the important things that you should be doing as well. So it's no different to the bit of coaching with J1000s and work like that. It's really, really beneficial for me. It makes me think and brings me into different scenarios like today. And when you're forced to think, it's stuff that sticks with you and probably benefit me as well.
And typically, for Jack and Aoife, they've a few international events under their belt, but they're obviously still pretty much learning the ropes here. But typically, what's the sort of queries, or what are they coming to get your opinion on?
It's not. I suppose it's a mix of different things. It's just the likes of pace notes. How can we involve pace notes to maybe get more out of the road, and especially when you come here, it's so technical, and you need to kind of have your notes written in a way that allows you to tell you how to drive rather than just describing the road. And there's ways of doing that. So there's, I suppose, from my own experience, ways that I can, or things that I can tell them to maybe implement. And then you've, I suppose, basic things like coming in and giving feedback after runs and maybe suggesting setup changes. And again, I've worked or been very lucky to work with engineers in the past year and learn different things, and I probably learn more than I ever have. And there's stuff then when you hear Aoife or Jack make a comment, something in my head jumps out and goes, well, I remember back when I was doing a test here, this guy told me this can often help this X, Y, and Z. And you can offer advice and then they can go and implement it and they'll tell you, yeah, that actually really helped. So there were scenarios like that today. So it's cool to see. It shows that I've come on as well, that I'm fit to give that advice, and it's implemented successfully. So yeah, they're the kind of things, and just in general approach and mindset towards the whole thing. And there's very little that occurred today that I hadn't seen in the past year. So yeah, it's nice. I think it's good reassurance for them as well.
And Canaries will be around at the WRC next year. So you know, is there an advantage as well for you being out here this year? It gives you a chance to have a look around and get a feel for the event.
Yeah, definitely. You know, you get to see the nature of the road. You see how the whole thing runs, and you know, hopefully, if we get a chance, we might get out to watch a bit. But yeah, it's nice just to be out in this environment. You never know; we could be back out here in the future. So everything's an advantage, and you know, we'll get to see how the whole thing plays out across the weekend firsthand, and you'll hear different bits of information coming back and what catches people out, etc. So yeah, definitely a benefit for sure.
And Eamon, for yourself and Connor, next round of the JWRC is Sardinia. I suppose didn't have a good run in Croatia, had to retire due to mechanical failure in the car.
Yeah, it was so disappointing. I guess it was a rally we put a lot of work into and wanted to go and show that we had the pace to be near the top, and I genuinely believe we did. And we never really got an opportunity to show it. And yeah, it's a pity, but that's rally, and sometimes your luck just isn't in it, and it certainly wasn't from pretty much the second stage onwards with us. And it's more disheartening too when you see that when things are going okay, your split times are near the top, and you can be fastest on splits, and you know the pace is there, and you just have nothing to show for it. So yeah, it was a bit of a kick in the teeth, but you know we have to take the positives and take them into Sardinia. I know it's a different type of rally. Obviously, Croatia was very much, you know, fast and showing speed. Sardinia is a bit more of a rally of attrition and somewhat a finishers rally, especially in the juniors, with how far back in the field we run. But yeah, look, we have to, I suppose, get a bit of fire in our belly from the bad result in Croatia and really go for it in Sardinia and have a good plan and try to produce the best result possible to keep our championship alive. But there's absolutely no reason why we can't do that. We went there last year. We experienced how tough of a rally it was, but I felt other than one tiny mistake, which forced us into Super Rally on Friday, everywhere else we showed good speed with a lot of top three times, and we managed the rest of the rally pretty well within what was disastrous conditions. So yeah, look, anything can happen in that type of rally, but we're going to keep positive and put a big effort into the whole thing and go in and, like I said, bit of fire in the belly and try to keep this championship alive.
And more recently, you took part in the Deja Vu NorthWest event. You know, it's a fantastic opportunity to bring rally cars out to the public. Okay, it's not competitive at all, but it's still a chance for people to see, maybe people who wouldn't normally even get to see a rally car in Anger, get to see them coming through, you know, Sligo or Donegal Town or somewhere like that.
Yeah, it was class. That was my third Deja Vu, but this was probably the best one yet for me. They set out such an amazing route for us to drive around, and places, even though they're pretty local to me, some places I'd never been before, and in combination with the really good weather, it was just amazing. Not only were you driving a Super Legacy, driven by Richard Burns, but you're driving it on top class roads in top class conditions, and it's just such a good day. And yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed every single bit of it, and it is a real credit to the guys who organize them events, because they do a couple a year, you know, and they're not easy put together. There's a lot, you can see the work that goes into them, all the halts and all the permission they obviously have to get and organize and put together, the different stopping places, and obviously the logistics of running 150 cars around them routes. So yeah, it was really well run, and yeah, what can I say? There's so many different positive elements to it. The car is amazing. I mean, I'd never driven it. I'd stared at it for a long time when it's up in our place. But yeah, driving it was amazing. Just so cool. The feeling of putting the thing into first gear and hearing the real rugged clink as you put it in, and then going through the gears and the noise and everything. There was times where we were on bits of road where we just said, right, headsets off, just listen to it. It was amazing. Yeah, and being in convoy then with Dad and the Rothmans legacy ahead of me, and then Vincent Bonner and Amanda behind me, who I must say, for a man his age, never left my back bumper, no matter how hard I tried. Which that was quite cool too. And yeah, it's great, as you say, for it to come to the public, because we're driving in convoy around various different areas and very public areas too, and you've seen the turnout of crowds. It was amazing. People were, I think, so inquisitive about the whole thing, and it's great for rallying. Obviously puts a whole positive spin on the sport, and it's just a great family day out for people. But yeah, and I suppose another positive element being that it was obviously in aid of the McDonald and Maguire families too, with their fundraisers after the event, which went really, really well. And it was nice to see the community giving back to what was such a tragedy in Sligo last year. But yeah, a really positive day, and again, a big hats off to the organisers, because it was a really, really well run event.
And in the co-driver's seat with you had Sven Grube, probably better known for abusing a Citroen C1 on Instagram. How did that come about?
Yeah, well, after seeing his Citroen C1 driving, he definitely wasn't going to drive the Legacy. He's better off in the passenger seat. But no, yeah, I'd suppose spoken to him a good few times over social media and common interest, and I thought it would be good fun to have someone in the passenger seat who obviously is very passionate about rallying and has a good following in order to display that. I thought it'd be something different. So usually we kind of stick maybe a sponsor in the passenger seat, but I thought this would be something different, and him and his mates really enjoyed the weekend, and it was great crack having them along. You can tell they're passionate about rallying. There's absolutely no doubt about that, and you could tell they really enjoyed the weekend, and it was great crack having guys like that along. I think probably a similar sense of humor and similar interest is a good recipe. So yeah, we had good fun, and it was for everybody. It was just a really, really good weekend.
And was he blown away, sitting in the Legacy that Richard Burns drove?
No, I'd imagine so. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, look, who wouldn't be, to be honest? It's amazing. But when you are a rally nut and you grow up watching VHS tapes of these cars being driven back in the British Championship, sure, I was probably just as blown away myself. It was class. And I think the two of us, as I said earlier, it was like, right, headsets off. We were just happy out, just driving along, listening to the noise. It was, you're in your element. Like it's absolutely class. And driving on the classic kind of obviously Rally Ireland stages, and then things like Loch Melvin and Mulletmore, and then all around Loch Esk and Donegal too. What amazing roads! That car, you just felt like you were living in the 90s. It was absolutely class. So yeah, two very, very happy boys.
So thanks to Eamonn, and fair play to Eamonn. Eamonn literally flew into the Canaries last night. He spent the whole day out and about with Aoife and Jack, helping them with testing. Literally got into his hotel room, straight on to me after, I think, a 12 or 13-hour day. So I do appreciate his time. And I suppose, yeah, the reason he's out there in the Canaries is the next round of the ERC is on this weekend in the Canaries.
Yeah, like we have John and Owen out in the M Sport Fiesta as well too. So yeah, they look very confident coming out testing there yesterday. I think it was Monday that they were testing that the car looked very well, and fingers crossed we could be in for a good result there. But it's a strong lineup there too, isn't there? Like there's all the top ERC guys is all there.
Yeah, absolutely. With Hayden Padden out number one, then throw Mads Osberg into the mix. Eric Seiss. Who else is
Lucky
there?
Luck was there.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And then our own Philip Allen's there as well too, with Dale Furness in the notes as well too, and the Highland as well. And then in Rally 4 then, with the juniors, like Max McRae's there, and then our own then is Aoife and Hannah, and Jack and John as well, Jack Brennan and John McGrath as well too. So yeah, a lot of local interest there as well.
Absolutely. And, let's not forget, Aoife and Jack both had a very good run in Hungary there in the first round of the ERC. So, hopefully now they're getting on to more familiar tarmac that they're probably a little bit better suited to or more experienced on. So be interesting to see how they get on.
Yep, that's for sure as well. And then also this weekend was the latest round of the Tarmac Championship, the Killarney, and the Lakes of Killarney. And what can we say? We've seen every round so far, and the pace has been hot. So fingers crossed we might even get a dry rally this weekend too. So we can but hope. So top class lineup, and I caught up with Sean Moriarty and Ger Conway there, and they give us the lowdown on what to expect at the weekend. With the Lakes of Killarney now just a few days away, we thought we'd catch up with the stories from down in Kerry. So, Sean, you've pulled together a fantastic entry once again, and touch wood, the weather's looking sort of fairly positive.
Yeah, hopefully, we're kind of sick of the wind and the rain. Looking at the junior academy drivers tested in the Canaries today, and I was wondering why wasn't I in the Canaries rather than Killarney. But Killarney did it this weekend. Looking forward to a great weekend. Town's getting busy already. Like you're only talking Tuesday night, but you could already see rally fans and competitors around the town. You know, some of them do their recce early for different reasons. So it's great to see the buzz back in town, and looking forward to a very, very busy weekend in Killarney and down into West Cork and the Beara Peninsula over the weekend.
Aye, like Ger, like there's nothing beats at the town whenever the rally comes. You know, like there is that air of anticipation just builds the whole week. You know, the previous weekend there's guys there wrecking. There's next thing there's like there's the tire trucks landing and there's service vans start pulling in. You know, and there's just that atmosphere starts to build.
Yeah, definitely. Like there's nothing as special as, we'd say, the home rally to anyone. It doesn't matter what part of the country it is in, but especially down here to us with the classic stages we have and everything, and we're only delighted to get at them and just tear into them. So really looking forward to it. Yeah.
Yeah, because like yes, it's your home at Rally too, but it's been a rally that's been very kind to you as well in the past as well.
Yeah, I suppose Killarney in general has been between the Killarney Historics and the Rally of the Lakes. I was lucky enough to win the historic section of the Rally of the Lakes and the national section. And fortunately last year didn't go fully to plan, but we got to lead the rally for a small bit on Saturday, which was something quite big, nice achievement.
I think, and unfortunately Rob's not competing this year, but like what he done last year in the polo was exceptional. Like all those other guys who had like so much time on below their belt in the Rally 2 R5 cars, to step into that car and be as competitive, it just shows the undoubted talent the guy has.
Yeah, definitely, without a doubt. And there are some fantastic memories too. Like I'll still never forget that the video clip of Killian Duffy's just watching back in it from the end of the gap. Like how shocked the two of us actually were. Like when we crossed that finish line, the two of us, we never actually thought it was anyway as quick as what it was. It was so funny when we got the times in after that. Like, but unfortunately, the weekend didn't keep going like that, but it was still a great weekend.
Yeah, I like Sean. There is, there's a very strong, rally community in that area. Like, you have Ger, you have Rob, you have Noel O'Sullivan, Mikey Galvin, and that's only just the top few guys. Like, there's a whole bunch of guys there, and like it's a very strong community in a very small area.
Yeah, I'm supposed to. If you look at the top two seeds, Noel O'Sullivan Jr. is chasing 3 in a row, and Mikey Galvin is leading the Irish Tarmac Rally Championship after the opening 3 rounds. The two lads went to school together from primary school, secondary school, best of friends off the stages. But you can imagine the intense rivalry that's going to be going on there between them two lads over the weekend. Of course, Noel wants the 3 in a row, and 3 in a row would be a very significant result for any local competitor. It's been done twice before. The late, great Bertie Fisher, I think, has 5 in a row, and Billy Coleman has 3 in a row in the early days of the rally. So it's a very rare thing to get 3 in a row. Of course, Mikey is leading the Irish Tarmac Rally Championship. That in itself is a rate. I think it's just local pride at stake there. Throw Matt Edwards into the mix. Not sure will Matt have the experience of the Beara Peninsula on Saturday, but he'll be thereabouts come Sunday, and Sunday is a bit more of a open flowing rally, so I think it's going to be very interesting within them top 3 boys anyway, for very different reasons.
Yeah, and like you mentioned the area of the stages, and I suppose maybe we should touch on that to start off with. Like that's the thing with Killarney too. They do tend to mix it up. Yes, you need you need your classic stages. That's why people go there. But the fact that they're mixing up the stages a wee bit this year too, that has to be very much welcomed as well.
Well, the Beara Peninsula, there's no better place in the world to go rallying. The Healy Pass, Cods Head, Ardgroom, they're 3 of the finest stretches of road anywhere in the world. Any navigator, any driver that has the opportunity to race on them roads is you're competing on what has to be called the best of the best. But when you're talking about the West Cork and the Beara Peninsula, you tend to kind of forget other things in the area. And to me personally, I think Gortnagan, which is the opening stage of the Sunday Loop, is an absolute classic. It's got bits and pieces of everything. It would remind you of places of the Isle of Man. It's fast and flowing. It's slow. There's jumps. There's crests. There's kind of everything in Gorton again. Billy Coleman always said it was his favourite stretch of road. And you go back, 40 odd years ago when the Circuit of Ireland Rally used to come down to Killarney, and overnight Easter Saturday in Killarney. Gorton again, in reverse of what we were running this year, was the last stage into town. And Coleman would be just hanging in there all through Easter Saturday, but set a time in Gorton again that keep his rivals chasing through the Sunday loop. So that'll tell you the stature of that road. The other two on Sunday are kind of mix and matches of stages that we're all familiar with, and we all know the roads, but we're coming at the junctions from maybe a slightly different angle or different direction and departing a different way. But they're versions of Bernard, they're versions of we've all been there. They're still classic stages, and you're forgetting that we're giving the likes of Cara Lake and Shannon and all them a skip for a year or two. So the spoils for choice is supposed down this part of the world.
Yeah, Jared, that is the great thing too. There is so many classic stages, stages that probably strike fear or joy into everybody. That you can sort of rest stages for a year or two and then bring them back, and then they come back fresh again.
Yeah, definitely, and even the fact you can run the Killarney Historics in December and run a different, we'd say, batch of stages again, like you said, that are all classics. It's a great problem to have, really, I suppose. Even some of the lesser known stages might they're not as well known, but they're still unbelievably good stages. They just don't have the classic names or whatever. But it's great to have the choice of roads like that. Yeah.
And what's the one stage? What's the one that stands out to you? Like Sean says, Gorton again is the one for him. What's the one that you, every time you just pull up to the start line, you're like, this is the one for me?
I suppose Cara Lake, either version of it. I just think it's an unbelievable, lovely flowing piece of road. It's for me, it's one of it probably is the classic stage.
And ceremony will start again this year and on the Friday evening, and that just brings we know, and you always say Killarney Historics the Friday night, it's the start of Christmas. This must be the start of summer for you guys down there too, because this really brings the crowds into the town as well.
Yeah, massive occasion. The rally comes into town. It rolls into town on Friday evening. For fans traveling there, spectators traveling, just give a kind of a brief rundown of what's happening. That the road closes at 6:30 p.m. on Friday evening. There'll be a bit of crack, a bit of banter with lads, myself included, Mike Moriarty, Martin Welch, a few people like that, just getting the crowd revved up. And then first rally car would be expected around say 20 to 7, quarter to 7. We'll get most of the top 15 to 20 crews over, and as many locals as we possibly can. And the trick is to hand the streets back to the town council by 8:30 that evening. So it's going to be a very intense 2 hours, but it's going to be a great crowd round, brings the crowd into town, sets the tone, sets the atmosphere for the weekend. And you're in then things get kind of serious after the start ramp. Your driver's briefing, 00, safety briefing, all that goes on immediately after the ceremonial start, and then you're into the bread and butter of the rally, bright and early Saturday morning, face from Miles Gap, and a whole day down south in the Beara Peninsula.
Yeah, I Jared, once it starts Saturday morning, it's a long, tough day. But that's, I suppose, that's why you rally. That's the kind of days you live for.
Definitely, yeah. It's, to me anyway, it's all about the challenge. I don't see the problem with big road mileage or would say the distance that goes away from town or anything, because it just adds to the challenge of it, makes it more difficult. And if you are successful in it or whatever, it feels like you've more of an achievement.
Because if you're having a good day, you don't see them road miles, you just see the next stage. Maybe if you're having a bad day, maybe it makes the road mileage that wee bit longer. But yeah, it adds another element to it, because you have to pick your tyres for here, and out the road could be completely different. And it adds a wee bit of flavour to the thing as well.
Definitely, because when you go down around the Beara Peninsula as well, the weather, like last year, you could go to Cod's Head, first stage out of service, and it could be bone dry. Our groom could be soaking wet. Go to the Healy Pass, the first half it could be bone dry, and the second half could be pouring rain like it was last year. So it is a bit of a lottery. Like you just have to pick kind of the middle of the road, what's going to be the overall best option.
Mm-hmm. And like Sean, service area, like is always first class down that area as well too. And I'm sure this year's no different.
Yeah, back onto the famous harbour front in Castletownbere. It's a pretty scenic location for a service park. I suppose, as Ger says, there's a challenge in the road mileage, there's a challenge in the logistics, but sure, there's a challenge there as well for the service crews to get all them wagons down into place. And they'll probably travel down to Castletownbere on Friday night. That creates an amazing buzz in a small little fishing village in West Cork on a Friday night. But it adds to the challenge because you have to manage your crew. You have to manage you obviously have to keep maybe a small van and two lads back on Saturday morning for that last minute tire change that's allowed. It's actually allowed outside the Gleneagle Hotel on Saturday morning before they go down south. But the bulk of the equipment has to be transferred down, and then it has to come back up Saturday night and get into the Lieber container crane factory in just outside Killarney and Fossa. So not just for the driver and navigator is there a logistic challenge. This challenge exists for the service crews as well, and the marshals and the organisers. It's an incredible machine once it starts rolling at all on Friday evening.
Yeah, but that's the great thing about rallying. Like we don't really see the benefits of it. Like you talked about that whole machine. Like it's a well-oiled machine at this stage because every rally, yes, it's maybe below the surface. It could be frantically paddling away, but from the outside, it all seems to run very smoothly. And that's normally a small team that's making all that happen as well.
Loads of out there, yeah, loads of people out there. There was a club meeting on Monday night, and Clark, of course, Cormac Casey specifically said that he thanked everybody that did what they did in the last couple of months. He said there's certain things going on in the background that even he's not fully aware of because these guys do these jobs year in, year out, and he just lets them off to do that job. And as in his speech and thanking everybody, he said, this is not my rally, this is our rally. He wasn't taking the credit as Kirk, of course, as the top man. He came all the way down the club, and you can't do it without so many different levels of expertise. A guy that can write a safety plan, a guy that knows how to talk to the local farmer to convince them to close the road for the day. There's so many different jobs, so many different skill elements in all rallies, and it's an incredible thing for any club to pull off any rally, not to mind a 2-day international rally in this day and age.
Yeah, and Ger, that's something like we should touch on, like the residents along the route, how accommodating they are. Like, yeah, we love to see a car going down the road. You love to be strapped into a car going down the road. But these people that maybe have no interest in rallying, but they're stuck in their house for the whole day, or they have to go away somewhere for a day. Like they deserve a lot of respect to be allowing us to do what we do.
Oh yeah, absolutely, Kevin. They're the kind of people you forget about. As you said, we get to do all these fantastic things, but there's so many people that pull together to allow you to do that. Like even year in, year out, you'd see the same faces maybe at like stage end exits and entrances and park farm entrances and all this crack that like they don't get to see any of the rally, but they're there year in, year out doing all these jobs like that, bring all the bits of the jigsaw together. It's great to see it.
That's for sure. That's for sure. And like Sean, there's such history with this rally too. It's maybe not got the the 100-year history, but the years it has run, like there's so many stories. There's so many twists. Like the likes of Noel O'Sullivan. Like it's this his 40th time competing in the rally, and then there's other guys. There's always these wee stories coming out of the event.
Yeah, there's lots of little stories coming out in the woodwork, and they always tend to come out in the week leading up to the Rally Lakes. As you mentioned there, one fascinating story is Noel O'Sullivan Senior from Muckross, just outside Killarney. His son Noel Junior is the top seed in the rally. Noel Senior is he's starting his 40th Rally the Lakes out of 43 editions. That's an incredible statistic. In fairness, that is dedication to our sport. That is a genuine enthusiast, a genuine clubman, a nice man you couldn't meet, loves the sport. Navigator alongside him. I think this is Nicky Burke's 30th Rally the Lakes alongside Nolly. And I think they've done nearly all the rallies in the famous orange escort that begins with the registration number ZB. And like unbelievable that this is still going on in this day and age. And you look further down the internet, there's lots and lots of little stories. You've got You've also got Mike Nelligan and John Hurley from Knocknagoshel, a small village just outside Tralee. They're members of Kerry Motor Club. Did their first ever rally in the Rally of the Lakes, December 1984. 40 years rallying this year together. Incredible stuff. Still at it. What's his name? Mike Nelligan's son Colin is involved in the sport now as well, so the second generation is coming through there as well. Then you've got, like, there's a band of brothers out there as well that you pick Charlie and John Hickey, and I think Charlie and John Hickey are the only two other people that could possibly match Noel Sullivan's seniors record of 40 starts. I'm not sure where they fit, but you've got John and Charlie Hickey, two brothers, competing again this year. Another set of brothers well known in this part of the world for their love of motorsport is Ken O'Neill is making a comeback after 6 years on the sideline. His brother Raymond has kind of been the class 12 front runner over the last 2 to 3 years. Two brothers back out again, and then slightly not quite local, but you've Fossa, Killarney-based Wexford man, Sam Leach. He's involved in gardening with golf clubs and things in this part of the world. And his brother Robert is coming up from Wexford to do the rally as well. So there's at least 3 sets of brothers doing the rally. There's local lads home from Australia. There's one particular guy, James Doolan, home from Boston. He's doing his first rally in a replica of an ex-Harry Hockley Group A Vauxhall Nova. And there's a little story connected to that car as well. Not to mind that he's just home from Boston, especially to do the rally. And it just trickles away down all the way that if you know the people from, okay, we all know the top 20, we all know the top 30, but there's little stories connected with all these lads the whole way down the line.
Yeah, I think, Ger, sometimes, we tend to forget, like, rallying, like, these guys, like that guy coming home from America to compete, them guys that's done the rally 40 times, like, this is their Christmas, this is their world championship, to get the opportunity to go and compete on the same stages as the likes of yourselves, or, any guy in the top 10. This is beyond, like, this is their dream, this is their savings have been going into this for the whole year.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's one of the fantastic things about the sport, that whether you're car number 1 or car number 151, it doesn't matter. You're still getting to compete. It's like playing on the same football field on an All-Ireland day. Like, you're getting to go down the same roads on the same day, not too long after the first car, and just live the same experiences. Like, and I think that's what's so unusual about the sport, what makes it so attractive as well.
Aye, you can run out in Crook Park, the same as Kerry or Dublin or whatever. You can, you're running out going out the same tunnel as them.
Exactly, and get the same enjoyment out of it. Like, and that's what it's all about.
Sure, for sure. And like Sean, like, we've sort of skittered around like the entry list as well too. Like the top, the top 20 guys. Like everybody there, all the main protagonists more or less from the the Tarmac Championship. The the modified, as a strong lineup there as well too.
Absolutely. I mean, we spoke about the top 3, but there's a few more there. Well experienced in Killarney, Johnny Greer. He's been coming to Killarney for years. He won the Killarney Historic Rally in the Sierra last 2
December. Years now, yeah. Last 2 years he's won it as well, yeah. So
yes, correct. And he's coming now in the Citroen C3. It's a Citroen C3 Rally too. I get tongue tied in that one always, but they seem to be the car at the front in a lot of Irish national rallies, whereas the Fiesta seems to be the car in front in the international rallies. And it'll be interesting to see how the battle between Ford and Citroen will shape up on the rally itself. The modified rally, of course, is always very exciting to watch down here. Kevin Ease is the top seed, the defending champion, etc. But local lad Conor Murphy has been doing, he's capable of winning rounds of the Irish Tarmac Championship, the national element of the Irish Tarmac Rally Championship. We just doesn't seem to be having the mechanical look this year, and few niggly problems since leading Galway going into the last stage, engine problem, handed the title to Frank Kelly. Similar enough problem in West Cork, early retirement. Something similar again, reared its ugly head in the Circle of Ireland. But he's due a win, I think. And I think he deserves a win. And he's one of the, they're one of the local characters, and his uncles and all his extended family involved in the sport as well. So they're just part of the fabric around here. And I was talking to him today, I was trying to actually convince him to come on here, and he says, I'm working, and he says, I'm going to have nothing left in the yard by Friday morning, so I can get a clear run and
yeah, like that's another thing, Jared, we tend to forget too. Just guys have ordinary jobs, the rallying's not, the rallying's the pastime, it's the release at the end of the week. Like, it's there's so many other things in your head. Like, to strap yourself into the rally car come Saturday morning, you need to get in there with a clear head.
Yeah, definitely, and that's not always easy, as you say, between work, kids, everything going on at home and that. But I think I just, at this stage of my life now, I just treat it as a break, and this is my wind down time, and it's just something I love, and I love doing it.
And this year you're getting an opportunity to sit in with Gary Jennings. Like, what can we say about Gary Jennings that hasn't been said before? Like, multiple, multiple tarmac championship round winner. Like, fast on the tar, fast on the list. One of those guys that can go anywhere and be competitive.
Yeah, such an iconic driver and previous winner here before as well, and getting a chance to sit in a top Rally 2 Fiesta as well. No, looking forward to it. Yeah, definitely. I was delighted when I got the call.
That's for sure. And Sean, we'll start wrapping things up. I suppose, like, if you were, thinking, will I go down to Killarney now at the weekend? Will I not? Sell it to us.
Why you're not booked in already? We've no room, we're full. Any fella who's thinking of coming is booked in already. No, I'm only messing, but it's no, town is busy, it's going to be full. Atmosphere Friday night is always class. We've touched on it earlier about this morning, so that's always class. I think as well as the rallying, the scenery down around the Beara Peninsula, along the Wild Atlantic Way, on a blue sky day, there's no better place in the world to be. I think anybody that has never experienced or spectated the Healy Pass, I'd advise to get in early, get in maybe an hour before the advertised road close time, and get up and park in a safe location off the stage. It's up at the top there. It's like watching a real life scale electric track, and you can see 6 or 7 cars winding their way down through the hairpins. It's an incredible sight. And an incredible sound as well, because the engines and the anti-lags are popping off echoing off the mountain, echoing off the valley. That is definitely a must see. Sunday, granted, Gorton again is the first stage out on Sunday morning. It's often been the grandstand finish has been the last stage of the rally as well. But there's something very special about Gorton again. Again, appeal to spectators to stand safely, respect the marshals on this particular stage. Ger mentioned like playing football in Croke Park. I think Gorton again is like Croke Park, and it's wall-to-wall people. Now, granted, they're in safe places, but you're heading in there from out over the famous jumps near the start of the stage, touching towards Shrone Church, Shrone Village. There is just thousands of people in the fields there, and it's like going through the tunnel in Croke Park, facing out for Kerry or Donegal or whatever county you support. And interesting enough now this year is that the Gorton again stage actually crosses the Cork County bounds, and we actually finished the stage in County Cork, made possible because we already have road closing orders with the Cork County Council and the Beara Peninsula, and this adds another, I think, 2-3 kilometres onto last year's version of the Gorton again stage, and that's exactly the stage that Billy Coleman was talking about, albeit coming the opposite direction. Finish ramp will be outside the Gleneagle Hotel from around 4:00 on Sunday afternoon. Great chance for people to meet the drivers, catch up with the winners, hear the stories, the good stories, the bad stories, the meows after the weekend. And of course, one of the best after rally parties of the whole year is the Gleneagle Hotel on Sunday night. So I'll go back to what I said at the beginning. Why are you not booked in already? The beanies are back. They were part of the official program package for years and years, but they slipped by the wayside in the last 2 to 3 years. But your official rally pack will include the famous Rally the Lakes hat with that's thanks to overall sponsors of Cess Ireland. They've decided to bring the beanies. The beanies are back. That's the catchphrase for the weekend. So if my previous sales pitch didn't do it, that has to do it.
Thanks to Sean Chair there. It's good to catch up with him and good crack there. So also on the Monday, the bank holiday Monday, is Enniskillen from the May Day Rally at St Angelo's Airport. It's always a cracking day. It's a real feel-good day. It's always a bit of fun. There's a bit of sliding about, and yeah, anybody in that area on Monday, it's well worth calling in. Like, I think they have an entry there of about 85 cars, maybe something around that there too. So, and there's always, a bit of entertainment, a bit of fun, and it's something that's kind of a family day there. You can there's ice cream vans and chip vans and all that as well too. So that could be worth calling into if you're in the area. So stay safe, everyone. Have a great weekend, and speak to you next week. Take care. Speak soon, and bye.